And ladies and gentlemen, JD here with Timber and Anvil. So you are watching me from my dairy barn. I think you guys have seen footage of this place before. It's about 1903, 1904 according to county records. Used to have 18 stanchions. Stanchions are these metal frameworks that would arrest the head of cows, as they're retained in the barn here to get milked and to feed, when they're not let out to pasture. And according to my neighbors, this place hasn't seen cows since about the 1950s or 60s. So that page of this barn's history is no more. So the previous owners, they used it for chickens. This whole back area was nothing but sawdust and chicken feathers and chicken crap and eggs and everything like that. It's now kind of my machine shop. I've got my little Atlas lathe over there. I'd like to put some more stuff in here, but that'll come later. Not a huge priority right now. This space is the priority right now. So what's the plan here? The plan here is to make a woodworking shop out of this space. So you can see it's a pretty generous area. I honestly haven't measured it, so I don't really know what the dimensions are, but I can just visually tell you, knowing what I have, that this is more than enough space to really have a great time and to really open a ton of opportunity in what I can do. So right now, structure of this place isn't fantastic. So we got obviously floor joists and beams that support the floor joists. So I have a 6x6 beam here, about 11 feet from that wall. Over here I have another 6x6 beam, if I can coordinate. No, here. It's another 6x6 beam going all the way across, and it's about 15 feet from that wall. And then there's nothing in between. And then down here, ignore that 6x6 because that's not tied, that's not taking any load. You can see it's freely wiggling. It's just tying in this vertical support for the stanchion structure and that vertical support. Then I got two beams that are only like, 2 feet apart. They're kind of hobbled together out of 2x6. This one's 3, that's only 2. I can't move them, so that tells me that they are taking load. And when I look at the structural support of this one in particular, it is wide enough to take a 6x6 beam, but it's only supported by a 4x4. So I'm thinking I might shore those up, hack these out, and replace them with 6x6. It's pretty easy to do. I have a railroad jack, it's a 10-ton jack, where I can throw a piece of pipe in there and cut a board to the length that I want to go from floor to the bottom of the plate there, and then jack it up a ½ inch or so to put that in there, make sure it's good and level, and then take the load off and put the 6x6 under load. This one here, I'll probably do a 4x4. I don't think you need 2 6x6s right next to each other, but I'm not going to take that out because, like I said, it is taking load. So I can just, it would only add to the strength of the building, which is never a bad thing. This is currently pretty janky. It's a 2x4 supporting that. And then it's like toenailed to this double plate 2x4. And then not even directly in line with it is another 2x4. So I don't think engineering had anything to do with that. So that was just totally hobbled together, and it's pretty dumb. So we're going to remedy that with a simple 4x4 coming from the beam up there down to the floor. So that'll be 2 6x6s, two, if I can talk right, 2 4x4s. Over here, I'm not doing anything with this because I'm very happy with the strength of that guy right there. That's not going anywhere. On the other side, pretty solid as well. And you can kind of see that it's tied in with a beam there. Sorry, there. And there is a beam here, which is evidenced by that. So that's a beam that supports it over here. So I'm okay with that. And then down here, we're going to have 2 more 6x6s. So this is a 4x4 that's supporting a 6-inch beam with this ridiculous sheet metal nonsense. I don't get that. This will be deleted and replaced with a 6x6. And then actually the equivalent of this on the other side isn't there. You can see that sheet metal is ripped out. There used to be a beam there. It's not there anymore. And when you look at these ridiculous, like nailed together 2x4s, they're not straight, but they are definitely taking load. That's not a good situation, so we're going to fix that. So all told, 6x6, 6x6, 4 6x6s, and 2 4x4s. So that's the lumber that I need for tomorrow. And the strategy is going to be to shore all those up, get them nice and square, level, etc. And once they're in place, then I know that the upstairs floor is structurally sound, and I can delete all of this crap with impunity, leaving only the vertical supports. So like I'd have a beam here, this would go away, all of that would go away, everything. It would free up a tremendous amount of floor space and really, really open up the opportunities here. Really cool thing I want to point out, kind of digress from the subject at hand. See that square head? It goes to a bolt that's, gosh, I don't even know, like 1.25 inches diameter perhaps. And there's one on the other side. Those babies are hand forged. You can't tell from down here because it's covered with whitewash, but up in the dairy barn, up in the hayloft, you can clearly see that they're hand forged, and you can even see a lap weld, forge weld joint, which is so freaking cool. So those are wrought iron, handmade bolts. The way they work is you can kind of see the bottom of the angle truss here, and it's the same thing on the other side over there up against the wall. Those come in at a 45-degree angle to another horizontal beam, 6x6 going across, spanning the whole width of the barn. And then these bolts, they come from the bottom here, obviously, and then they go up on top of that beam upstairs, and it's like tightened together to really pinch everything and keep it good and strong. The thing I'm not sure about is why it's only on that beam, it's not on this beam. There's no bolts here, and there's no evidence that there ever was a bolts here. So I don't quite get that. The structure upstairs is otherwise the same with the truss sort of configuration, but there's just no giant, sweet hand-forged bolts. But anyhow, so what's the plan for this space? Yeah, like I said, it's going to be the woodworking shop. Once we get all this nonsense out of here and it's cleaned up, then I'll come through with my power wash the ceiling, because you can see all kinds of janky cobwebs. There's like twine randomly hanging from the ceiling. There's bits of chain hanging from the ceiling here and there. There's some old light fixtures that don't serve a purpose anymore. They're not electrically hooked up at all. So all that stuff's going to go away. It'll all be cleaned. I did use a broom and, with the help of my sister, kind of brushed all the cobwebs and crap off the walls and some of the loose whitewash paint. But yeah, the end goal is to paint the entire inside of this place. So that wall there, that's the west-facing wall, that will be like a steel blue, and then the rest of the walls will be like a sand color, kind of a light tan, not too dark, but I don't like bright surgical white walls like I'm in an OR. I'm not interested in that. I'll probably paint the ceiling white, just whatever. I'm not putting a ton of thought into the ceiling, but the walls I want to have, pretty. It's going to be like a studio, essentially. So that's, like I said, going to open up a ton of opportunity in my woodworking exploits and capabilities. Then what that also does is it frees up what I can do in the building that is currently serving as my woodworking shop. That building has 3 walls of poured concrete, steel roof, and the south wall is framed in with the most ridiculous siding you've ever seen. It's like rotting OSB. So that building is beautiful for a blacksmith shop because you're not going to burn down a concrete and steel building. Yes, it has 2x4 roof joists, but yeah, there's like 0 fire hazard there. So that'll be the blacksmith shop. This space will be the woodworking shop, and where my blacksmithing gear currently sits in the bay of my garage, yeah, that's just going to go back to being, I don't know, maybe I'll park my tractors there or something. So all that stuff is eventually going to move. So I can have finally a dedicated weather-tight blacksmith shop, a dedicated weather-tight woodworking shop, a dedicated garage, all separate. That's like every guy's dream, because God forbid the blacksmith shop burned down, it's not going to jeopardize the woodworking shop where I'm at right now. It's not going to jeopardize the garage. Something happens in the garage, it's not going to jeopardize the barn here, and the barn's not going to have any hot work. You know, the garage, I'll be welding in there. I've got my welder and settling oxygen torch. The blacksmith is obviously hot work city, right? So I think that is a very, very safe configuration, and also very productive in the sense that I kind of have a division of hobbies, and they're kind of organized to their own shop space. Excuse me, shop space. So that's the plan. As you can imagine, that is an astronomical amount of work between now and whenever that's done. That's going to be like a summer-long project. So yeah, bear with me. I don't know how much footage I'm going to record of that process. I'm going to do like little progress updates here and there when I hit milestones, like knocking all the 2x4 stanchion support out of here. That'll be kind of a milestone, which I hope to finish tomorrow. I don't really see that being an all-day project. And then power washing it all out and cleaning it and ready to paint, that'll be another milestone. So you guys will see some footage here and there of that, short video clips, etc. And then the moving operation. So that's what you can expect for now until I'm done relocating all of my workshop spaces, reorganizing, etc. And then, yeah, once we have everything set up, then it'll be pedal to the metal. It'll be a ton of fun, a lot of opportunities. I already know what my first project's going to be, and it's going to be a joiner's workbench, something I've been wanting to build for several years. So anyhow, I'm going to quit rambling. Really appreciate it if you guys hit the like button and subscribe, and stay tuned as we completely transform an old dairy barn. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe and get out and do something in your shop. Bye now.